That is the bell ringing on Wall Street, and it means the US markets are open. It also means we are live around the world. It's a new day, a new week, and time for the money news that matters.
Ben is with us with some breaking news in the business world, Ben.
Yes, Lucy, I'm just keeping an eye on it because any second now we're expecting the Bank of England to announce its decision on interest rates. We will keep across that and bring it to you the second we get it. Here at Gatwick Airport, people setting off for their holidays this morning as big changes to UK travel rules kick in this week. We'll look at what the new rules are, how they might change even further, and what it all means for your half-term holiday and winter getaway plans. Another day and another big Brexit vote here at Westminster. Will a vote of confidence in Theresa May's government give businesses any more of the certainty they crave? Hello, very warm welcome to the programme. A lot of you getting in touch with tweets on that National Sickie Day story. Some of you taking issue with the very notion of it. We'll come to those a little later in the programme. But we start in China, where stocks and commodities have dropped sharply as trading resumed after a longer than usual and extended Lunar New Year break. Hello, very warm welcome to this edition of World Business Report with me, Ben Boulos. We all have one of those drawers, don't we, full of charging cables for different electronic devices, and you can never find the one that you need. Well, that could all change. The European Union has set out a draft law that would make all mobile phone manufacturers use the same type of charger, not just for phones, but for tablets, headphones and other accessories. Some breaking news to bring you. If you've been trying to send messages on social media, WhatsApp and the like, you may be having problems, but you are not alone. This is because 3 major social media sites owned and operated by Facebook are suffering an interruption to their service. These are the pages that were displayed just a short while ago when we tried to log on to Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp. As you can see, none of the sites were loading.
Ben Boulos is outside the company's flagship store on London's Oxford Street and can tell us more. So, Ben, how have they come to this decision?
Well, this is part of the problem. Heavy discounting is something that Gap has relied on to get shoppers coming into the stores and spending money even before the pandemic hit. So when lockdown came in and the stores had to shut, it was already in a rather weak position. Now its flagship store and the other 80 that it has across the UK and Ireland will close by the end of September. It will become an online-only retailer in this country, reflecting a very definite trend in the way that we are all now shopping. 2,359 seats here, and every single one of them at the London Coliseum has been empty for months. So indeed has the stage. Let me show you. All the set packed up because no shows have been put on for months now. And this is London's largest theatre. It's home to the English National Opera. But like any theatre in London and right across the UK, if you can't put shows on, you can't have audiences in, you can't make money. And that has huge repercussions. And this lot from Cwmbran, just north of Newport in Wales. Do my bit for the cider making process. They go into that vat. There you go. All of them go into there. From there, they get sorted. You can see them coming up the conveyor belt here. Look at that. Look how lovely they look. Those apples being washed and sorted. I can just about see you, and the reason is we're talking fake flowers. They're growing in popularity across the world. It's an industry worth hundreds of millions of dollars a year. But what is the appeal? I know someone who can tell us. That's Janie Dillon, Chief Executive and founder of the fake flowers firm Amaranthine Blooms. What does the name mean, by the way?
It means everlastingly beautiful.
It's a bit like, the consistency's a bit like tapioca, but the taste,
yeah,
very earthy.
very earthy. And you can mix it with different flavours.
Now, what you meant to do with it? Because presumably you're not going to eat a whole bowl of this.
And now we've got sensors in the base,
yeah,
and you can actually control the flight and the height just by putting your hand underneath.
That.
Well, if I... there we go. I just pressed the land button.
Oh, yeah, that was you. That was your fault. I thought I'd done something wrong. This kicks in from November. One small personal bag. So something about this size, you'd probably be OK. Under the seat in front.
Well, you wouldn't be going very far for very long with that, would you? Well, I wouldn't.
Well, that's true. Maybe a beach holiday. Somewhere hot. But if you're taking on a bigger bag, something maybe that size or a wheel-on case, you'd have to either pay £6 to take it on with you, or even more, pay £10 to put it in the hold. Do you ever get the feeling you've overindulged around Christmas and then try to shed some of those gains? Well, global stock markets appear to be doing exactly the same. The rally we saw the day after Christmas has given way to a sell-off, particularly on Wall Street. Well, yeah, if Wall Street was a fairground of roller coasters, on Christmas Eve, I'd have been selling you tickets for the Big Dipper. They had their worst ever Christmas Eve
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
Seconds, not as long as it would have taken
No,
you.
but it sort of showed, yeah.
And then on Boxing Day, it was more a case of, roll up for the skyrocket. They soared. The Dow Jones, biggest ever single daily points gain. It was up by over 1,000 points. So a very volatile Christmas period. Investors have rediscovered their appetite for riskier stocks and shares after those promising noises that we've had coming out of the trade talks. And that's also having a positive effect on oil. Look at that, Brent crude spiking above $60 a barrel, hitting a 3.5-week high. That is in response to the main oil-producing countries club, known as OPEC, cutting output and also concerns easing over weak growth in demand for fuel. And that's enough markets for the moment. What was the last thing you got repaired? Well, for me, it was a washing machine. That was because it was cheaper to get it repaired than replaced. But it is frustrating, isn't it? When you buy a new appliance, then just after the warranty runs out, it gives up. The repair costs can be astronomical. So what do? You think it's cheaper to just buy a replacement. There we are. You can see that those sharp falls. I mean, they've only been trading for, 20 minutes or so now. That is how they open. The reason the markets suffer when there is this kind of trade rout, investors don't like the uncertainty.
I knew you were going to say uncertainty. Always.
What am I going to say next then?
I'm uncertain.
Very good. They move to safer assets. They leave riskier stocks. Safer assets like gold,
Gold,
government
yes.
bonds.
There you go.
Right. Let's take a look at what's trending online in the business world. The Independent is reporting that the trends for beards that we've seen in the last couple of years among young men is having a negative impact on razor sales. Hardly surprising, but Gillette has seen a drop in sales of 5% versus a year ago. Just as well I got rid of mine.
It certainly will be symbolic if rates go up for the first time in a decade.
Indeed it will, Anita, and that's why all the traders here on the trading floor at Lloyd's are watching it very, very closely. Let me just take you into the screen where it's going to pop up. This screen here, you can see that's the current interest rate, that's what they're expecting, and that where the two little dashes are is where the rate will appear when it's announced. It will appear at exactly midday, so in about 10 seconds or so. We'll just keep it on that screen. You'll see it as traders here and around the world will see that result. It's coming up in just a few seconds, so we'll see if it's as everyone expected. And there it is, 0.5%. It's always closely watched, but it's an indicator of how much activity there is in the economy. GDP refers to the total amount of goods and services that the country produces. So if that number's increasing, it means that there's a lot more economic activity. That's good in terms of jobs. And if there are more jobs, it means there are more people paying taxes, more people outspending. So it's a bit of a positive circle as long as it's growing. Big business story that we've been focusing on throughout the day is the return on some UK government debt turning negative. Nothing to do with Peppa Pig, that's coming up in just a moment. On the UK gilts, let me tell you, it means some... just stay there, Peppa, we'll be with you in a minute. It means some investors are effectively paying to lend the government money. There'll also be a new discount rail card for those aged between 26 and 30. That has gone on sale already. It's like the 16 to 25 rail card.
Is that on condition that they stand and give up their seat for anybody a bit older?
Are you asking for a friend?
Just a thought. Anyway.
Now, many of us will have a favourite outfit, something that makes us feel confident, maybe even powerful. But for some, what you wear underneath can be just as important. What are you wearing underneath, Ben?
Mariam, you're cheeky.
But I was not a good businessman. Ha! You don't say.
A bit worrying the way Aaron's eyeing that needle, but anyway.
Do you know, there's only one thing more disturbing than Aaron with a surgical glove and a needle in his hand, and that'd be Mariam. Let's speak now to the boss of Heathrow Airport, John Holland-Kay. John, those extra tests may deter people, they may be costly, they may be inconvenient, but we need them, don't we?
Well, we're talking about the PCR tests here, which are required for anyone coming into the UK.
John, a lot of it is about reducing risk as much as possible. And there were some people arriving back into Heathrow at the weekend who saw queues for up to 2 hours to get through the airport. Obviously, they're in an indoor space surrounded by lots of other people. How can that happen? How can people be waiting there for up to 2 hours? And what do you say to those who are caught up in it all?
Well, first of all, on behalf of Border Force, I'd like to apologise to anyone who was caught up in any queues coming through immigration.
Hello, this is BBC News, the headlines. The European Union and United Kingdom have announced that a post-Brexit trade deal has been agreed. Do you feel that perhaps there was too much attention paid to the politically important, the symbolically important matter of fisheries, but one which is economically a lot less significant than, say, financial services to the UK economy? Wow. If you will, focusing so much on how you divide up the sprouts that you let the turkey go cold in the meantime?
Well, of course, on fisheries, I mean, if we were like Norway or the Faroes or Iceland, we'd be catching 90% of the fish.
Well, we can speak now to Alistair Campbell, Labour's former Director of Communications at Number 10 under Tony Blair. Mr Campbell, the Labour leader Keir Starmer, Leader of the Opposition, has said that he and his party will support this deal when it comes to a vote. Do you agree with him?
No, I don't. I really don't think that the Labour Party should co-own this deal. I think they will regret it.
Isn't there an element of pragmatism? I mean, in an ideal world, they would have seen the detail, they would have scrutinised it and so on. But faced with the alternative, which would be if they contributed perhaps to the deal not succeeding, higher prices in the shops, more delays at the port on top of what's already happening, wouldn't that be even worse for people in the UK and potentially colleagues in Europe than to back the deal, however imperfect?
Well, look, I accept it's an imperfect deal.
Luxury car brands moving into the sports utility vehicle market, the SUV market, seems to be a growing area. Perhaps good for profits, not so good for the environment, though, is it?
Well, Ben, I would say that that is not the right assessment. I mean, I think that, super sport car brand Lamborghini has a focus to make sure that in that segment we are the head of the brand.
So what does it all mean for holidaymakers? Ben Boulos is at Gatwick Airport for us this morning. So Ben, morning to you. You got the trolleys at the ready. So what's going to change today?
Well, I mean, it might be quite a while since you last pushed one of these around an airport, loaded with suitcases, ready to go off on holiday. But this is a rather crucial week for anyone who's planning foreign travel, whether that's a half-term holiday or perhaps a getaway for some winter sun in the coming weeks and months. As you say, the traffic light system has dictated foreign travel since May, when the coronavirus restrictions started to be lifted. But the rules have changed this week. Let me explain what they are. Gone is the system of red, amber and green lists, where there were multiple rules for different countries. It's been simplified. There's simply a red list of countries and then the rest of the world. So let's say you go to a non-red list country. What are the rules? Well, if you are fully vaccinated or under 18 and unvaccinated, you no longer have to do a pre-departure test on holiday before you catch your flight back home to the UK. You also don't have to do a day 8 PCR test when you get back, nor do you have to isolate at home. What you still have to do, though, is book, pay for and take a day 2 COVID test when you get back to the UK. At the moment, it has to be a PCR test, but the government says it's hoping to change that to the cheaper lateral flow tests later this month, but it didn't give an exact date.
Of course, it all makes a difference, but I don't think that's going to be a huge game changer like we did see this week with the relaxing of the pre-departure test. That's made a big difference. OK, Julia, thank you very much indeed. Well, as I said, I was coming to Gatwick. I put a tweet out this morning. People said to me, where are you flying to? Have a safe journey. Well, as you can see, I've got no suitcase. I'm not going anywhere. But if some of those long-haul destinations come off the red list, I will gladly go and report for breakfast. So just let me know if you need me to do it.
Any particular destination in mind, Ben? It's not going to happen, by the way, but just for the sake of it.
Take South Africa, Mexico. You pick. Surprise me.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen. Did I make that clear? It's not happening.
Yeah. One-way ticket, the boss just said, Ben. Sorry about that.
That's good, isn't it?
I'll take it. Don't forget, you can reach me and the team here on social media. You'll find me on there at Ben M. Boulos. That is World Business Report. Thanks for watching.